Poggers, let's go! 500 subscribers special here, reacting to my streams. I mean, reacting to some of my old videos. Sorry, not my streams. Yeah. We're going to be destroying Carter Shaw with facts and logic today. Because this kid needs to be stopped. Someone needs to stop him. Okay? This kid needs to be stopped. He's evil. He's satanic. And someone needs to stop him. Okay? Because this kid needs to be destroyed. Facts. Logic. Watch my stream. Yeah. Late and gay. I'm 30 seconds early. I started 30 seconds early. Shut up. But the meme always reigns true. The meme always reigns true. Someone's got to put into this Carter Shaw guy. And that's what we're going to do today. And I know you've all been waiting for it. You've all been waiting. And here it goes, guys. Here it goes. Wrong one.
Sped Gang, Sped Gang. Sped Gang, Sped Gang.
WC Saul.
Sped Gang, Sped Gang.
Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang.
Yo, look at this kid. This kid looks like he's about to destroy some liberals with facts and logic. Oh, look at this kid. Watch his Ben Shapiro. Oh, he's smart. Wow, he's so smart. Look at this kid. Those thin muscles there, that's the guy's gonna defeat the globalist. All right.
27.
Also, fucking portrait mode. Why did I? Okay, there's a reason why I privated this.
Oh, that's insane. 65 subs for the campaign. Hank Kill use propane. 355 subs for my main. Cole can't pronounce my last name. Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang. Sped Gang, 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 Sped Gang. Conservative Republican train. Liz making rain. Praise. If you ain't sub you, us stain. Clean you up with OxyClean.
Sub to Jacker 66. Yeah. Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang. Alright, so this video started out as a joke between me and Captain Spaceman to start like pointing out mental things that were creating mental issues, such as like technology, different things that are creating mental issues in people's lives. This was not meant to, you know, like make fun of the issues. We didn't think it was really that funny, as given. Both of us have our own issues to deal with. So, and so do most Americans at this point. So,
Sub to Cap Spaceman.
oh yeah, so this was all an inside joke. That too. Like everyone, these were like some of my friends at the time, and I was literally just shouting them out and saying sub to them, and then listing like their different follower accounts, and that was like half the song, was just that. So, I don't know why you guys wanted this to be public. I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna have to go back and blur that.
Regrets. I'm a manager without a contract.
That's one of the reasons I privated it, actually, because I didn't want my sister to be in there.
I'm sure.
Oh, okay. This scene is funny. So we decided that I throw him out the car like it was like GTA, and that was basically the scene here. And I thought it was really funny.
In Afghan, now permanently outlawed in Iran. Your religion killed trans. I ain't no fan. Pop on.
Okay, this is another thing. That lyric I just said, your religion killed trans, I ain't no fan. That's kind of cringe, because I mean, obviously, I don't want them to be killed. That's not something I support at all. But it's still saying like a live and let live, like libertarian type principle, when what they really should be doing is just deporting them to like Britain, because Britain loves taking those kind of people. So just give them to Britain, all right?
PS4, no regrets.
I think that's a better solution than killing them.
I had no human contact, and a padded room intact.
See, like that's there where I'm like saying like I'm in a padded room intact. I'm talking about like the things that create mental illnesses, like being isolated. So that's kind of what it's talking about. And people thought I'm being ableist. Okay, whatever.
Only facts.
British,
so
true.
Book of truth. Practicing Rocket League in tech. Follow mid soccer. Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped Gang, Sped
So most
gang,
of you
sped.
will only understand about 5 lines in this, because almost all the lines are just between me, Captain Spaceman, and someone else, relative to like school stuff. So also, I'm not sure if my address is viewable on there.
This is Apex finding me. iCarly to grenade dead. Holy.
On Sped Gang 2, I made sure like to hide any privacy stuff, and I'm not sure if it's viewable on Sped Gang 1, to be honest.
Bagels will sustain. I'm streaming, not going to bed. One more squad remains. Sped gang, sped gang, sped gang, sped gang. Sped gang, 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 sped gang. Follow TTJ. Sub to Miss Soccer. Follow Catspace123 on Twitch. Follow Jecker66. Follow Conservative Republican. Sped gang,
Ugh.
sped gang, sped
That
gang,
had
sped gang.
very weird tempo to it. But yeah, I mean, we ran out of recordings to put in there. So I told Cap Spaceman, record a video of you walking your dog, and we'll just put it as the outro. So that's what happened here. This is that's the story. All right, so we're gonna watch Sped Gang 2 now. Far better song, far better rap. I love this rap way more. Also my takes were much better because like in this time I like watched Ben Shapiro, so I said something like facts don't care about your feelings. Or no, I said destroying libs with only facts. That's what I said. And then I had a line about like Afghanistan and killing transgender people, which again I don't support. But the live and let live trope that I was guiding my view off of is very cringe. So that's that. Also, what am I doing here? Can we roast like what I'm doing right here and make like a meme out of it? Because like, what the hell am I doing here? I literally look autistic. Now, Sped Gang 2, nothing is on beat. It's really good, but it's also really bad because nothing's on beat. And I think that's kind of funny, and it's kind of I'm going to turn this into like a music theory channel. So the creator put it off beat purposely to create that feeling of uneasiness that is representative of the feelings that you have whenever you have mental illness and you are in like a sped situation, whenever you have to go through like something special ed, something disabilitating you and making you all unhappy and mentally unhappy. And the dynamic between the offbeat tempo and the ability for the song to actually be good bothers the listener, to put them in a perspective that the person that they're talking about is. Bam, that's the music theory on it. I'm a music theory channel now. Time to drop Sped Gang 2. First off, the Sped Gang is here to say, if you don't watch John Doyle, you are gay. Stop watching porn, Coomer, and get a wife. Become about as masculine as Club Strife. Well, dragging near involves a drag and night. True! I'll beat you in court like I'm Phoenix Wright. Can't keep up with these bars we're spitting. We just kill this rap, we got a body count like we're Hillary Clinton.
Lil Hillary, go ask Billy how I'll leave you.
Strangle you to pieces like he did to Epstein. You know it's true. In my cracked
Yeah, I
up course,
covered my-
violence I do not
that's
endorse. Ready to
hard
get
tag
rid
there.
of both of you in Washington like an ugly divorce. You
That's
know
still my favorite scene. I think it's so funny how I said that. That's so funny.
both of you in Washington like an ugly divorce.
Actually, I might release the booper reveal. Booper. I might release a blooper reveal to Sped Gang 2 before I start working on Sped Gang 3. But yeah, so I got into conservative politics listening to Owen Schroyer Destroys Liberals compilation, and I don't really understand the differentiation between that and like Ben Shapiro. Whenever I started watching him, I'd also watch James Alsup, so like it was a very weird mix of people. And then I got to Crowder, very weird mix, like two very like mainstream guys, and then a guy that got banned for being considered like alt-right, and then another guy that got banned for like the same thing. So it was a very weird mixed bag. But it wasn't until really, Owen Schroyer started talking about Ben Shapiro and him being cringe that I started picking up on it. But I still liked someone like Crowder. So it wasn't until like Doyle, when I started watching him, that I started to more so. I started watching Doyle like early 2019, I think, or late 2018. So like pretty early in Doyle's leniency. It was after Whole Foods Market, I think. No, it was when he was at 2,500 subs. Actually, it was a triggering protest or something. It was maybe a feminist march. I don't remember, but yeah. That's kind of cringe. You should be watching Carter Shaw for your political opinions. Second one, Doyle's good. If you want to watch Fuentes, that's cool. Fourth, God, or no, God's number one. My bad. God, he's the best person to listen for your. Bro, shut up, knobs. I am not joking. Shut up. Give me a second. I got a cough. Joe Biden moment. All right, let's go.
Course, you know society's mentally ill.
Ben Shapiro is basically an Israel shill.
True.
Dave.
Okay, you can really see on this part that we record the audio first and then we made the video, and I just tried my best to match it up, and I matched it up pretty well with some of the clips, but it was impossible to match them all up because of like the length of the clips and such. So it was notable that some of the clips, like this one, would have just been like really poorly timed. Oh yeah, Michael Knowles is actually a very good entry level guy. I would recommend, if you want to start with like an entry level guy, maybe Michael Knowles might be a guy. What the hell happened? Boomer tech moment. What happened?
Here of the West is
Let's
Mike
go.
Lindell.
God jokes like we are David Chappelle.
I don't know why I said David Chappelle instead of Dave Chappelle. I mean, Dave Chappelle's name is David Chappelle. Like, that's where Dave comes from. His, like, if you look up on Google, there's results for David Chappelle and Dave Chappelle. It's just usually it's called Dave Chappelle. So I don't know why I called him David Chappelle, but whatever.
Fallen like Empire Charlemagne.
Okay, I like that one a lot. Fallen like the Empire Charlemagne. That's bars, bro.
Rip. Chance of less you gremlins are weak. You'll do about as much damage as Smash Sheet. The Sped Gang.
Oh yeah, time to save the West.
Sped Gang, the best.
The best. The best. The best. The best.
Let's go!
It is Captain Spaceman
From YouTube and
Twitch.
About to get
rich. My flaming hot bars about to burn you like a wish. Blindly voting isn't you niche fucking bitch. Democracy is cringe. Read some Aristotle. Saving the West. We are going full throttle.
Grab ya,
fumble
ya,
ya, wobble you to
death.
death.
Put down the bottle,
Get
get off of your alcohol and meth.
Born as a addicted
Drug.
drug.
Stop denying it, Coomers. Now this country is dying because of stupid
stupid
Coomers.
Washington didn't cross the Delaware, so your daughter can't have a OnlyFans in God's hands. The Sped Gang.
I need my OnlyFans, though. My daughter must have it. Washington across the Delaware, so I can do it. I need my OnlyFans.
That's with Sped Gang. It's fallen like
Yo, look at this
Empire
baller. Oh,
Charlemagne.
double dribble.
Rip. Chance of less you gremlins are weak. You'll do about as much damage as Smash Sheet. The Sped Gang.
All right, one thing I gotta say, we're gonna go through it just one thing to like full way through, but like you can see where like I edited in like the audio when I put the audio first, and then I could record the video, and then I try to edit the audio to go to the song and then go to the video at the same time, and it like just didn't mesh well, and then that also resulted in like the music being offbeat and the video being offbeat, and it also resulted in like various clips in the audio where you can just like very much tell that it's like multiple clips put together. And it's especially, I knew that's actually why I did it, because I was hoping someone would take it out of context. But the really hard part was Captain Spaceman's rap, because he has a really bad speech impediment, and he's like he just couldn't get the lines right. We recorded his like video parts for at least like maybe 45 minutes because he just couldn't he couldn't mouth the words right because he kept just messing it up. And that's why we have so many blooper reveals, and I might actually release a blooper reveal. But it was, why do I still have this on the screen? Give me a second. I can't seem to get rid of your comment, Bossum. Where is it? Oh, here we go. All right. But yeah, when you get to his rap, you can really see that like there's like lines where like I'm sure he'll go through the whole line, but there's other lines where every single word he says is a different audio clip, and you can tell. So let's restart.
Time to drop Sped Gang 2.
Okay. I did this posture on purpose because I thought it was very representative of the song's purpose. But then my man Knobs out here, yeah, this gay fag that loves joking, he had to make a meme out of this whenever I did this on purpose. So good meme, honestly. I gotta say, good meme. I like the memes.
If you don't watch John Doyle, you are gay. Stop watching porn, Coomer, and get a wife. Become about as masculine.
If I didn't like the memes, I would have made the song. I would have made a serious song.
An
You know?
ass club strike. Well,
Dragonair involves a dragon
Knight.
knight.
I'll beat you in court like I'm Phoenix.
That's honestly a solid line. I'll beat you in court like I'm Phoenix, right? That's a good line.
Can't keep up with these bars we're spitting. We
We just kills rap. We got a body count like we're Hillary Clinton.
Lil Hillary, go ask Billy how I'll leave you.
Strangle you to pieces.
like he did to Epstein. You know it's true. In Minecraft, of course, violence I do not endorse. Ready to get rid of both of you in Washington like an ugly divorce. You know society's mentally ill. Ben Shapiro is basically an Israel shill. True.
Savior of the West is Mike Lindell.
God jokes like we are David Chappelle. Hee. Save the West with Sped Gang. It's fallen like Empire Charlemagne. Rip. Chancellor us you gremlins are weak. You'll do about as much damage as Smash Sheet. The Sped Gang.
Oh yeah. Time
Sorry, I
to
was
save
telling
the
Vince
West.
now how my stream was better.
Sped Gang, the best, the best, the best, the best, the best. Let's go! It is
It's Captain Spaceman from YouTube and Twitch.
About
About
to
to
get
get.
rich. My flaming hot bars about to burn you like dough.
Okay, you can really hear it there how he clipped like all of his audio there, and it's all different
Burn
clips.
you like dough. Blindly voting. My flaming hot bars about to burn you like dough. Blindly voting isn't you niche fucking bitch. Democracy is cringe. Read some Aristotle. Saving the West. We are going full throttle. Grab ya. Bubble ya. Wobble you to death. Put down the bottle. Get off of your alcohol and meth. Foreigners are addicted to drugs. Stop denying it, coomers. Now this country is dying because of stupid boomers. Washington didn't cross the Delaware, so your daughter can't have a OnlyFans in God's hands. The Sped
Save the West with Sped Gang. It's fallen like Empire Charlemagne. Rip. Cancel us, you gremlins are weak. You'll do about
Alright, I was telling Vince. Oh my gosh, I need to drink some water. My throat is so sore. I'm a little thirsty boy. I must coom. I must coom, my little thirsty boy. You're right, I am gay. I am gay. I'm a little thirsty boy. I must coom. God. Gal stream has ended. So true. All right. So we're going to watch we're going to watch an awful video I made my freshman year when I first got into politics. I was reading off a script, and I thought the script was really good. Like, I thought it was flawless. And reviewing it back now, it's some of the worst content I've ever seen. So you guys are about to watch this, all right?
You might be wondering, why is a kid teaching us about politics?
Yes, I am.
Or maybe,
Bro, look at this kid. The camo shirt. The
you weren't stupid and read the title.
big time rush haircut.
Either way, it's important to assess both sides of the political spectrum correctly because many fallacies will come up in argument.
Bro, I messed up the audio there and I re-recorded something over it and it sounded so bad.
For example,
Nice vacuum. Shut up. I still have that vacuum.
when arguing with a leftist, they might call you
Listen to the words I used. I said a leftist. I didn't say a liberal. Because who I was listening to at the time was like Ben Shapiro, people that were liberals. So I'd use the word leftist because that's what they use because they're liberals.
an alt-right Nazi, which is crazy because the Nazis were radical socialists that believed
We're not getting into that.
in totalitarianism and they censored speech. They didn't give gun rights to those that opposed Nazi rule. They went out their way to kill.
Gun rights are inherently a liberal thing. The American liberals just don't like it. It's inherently a liberal thing to like liberalize people from a government. Like, that's what. Whatever.
those that spoke out against them. Leftists will go out and call people like Ben Shapiro Nazis, even though he's a Jew. They'll then call you a racist.
No, I'll just call him a Jew. I'll just call him a Zionist. What he is. Hate this.
KKK supporter, even though the KKK was Democratic. Self-identified.
Guys, do you know who the real racists are? Have you guys heard who the real racists are, guys? I don't know if you guys heard, But the Democrats are the real racist. They're the real racist guys. The Democrats are the real racist guys. I don't know if you've heard, but they're the real racist guys because they create the KKK and they that's a Southerners ad. I'm the real racist. Okay, what's going on?
Alt-right does exist, but they are much more anarchist.
We're just not going to even address that. The alt-right's very off. The self-identifying alt-right is very authoritarian. I don't even know what I'm talking about here.
Brings me to my first difference. Big government.
Oh my god. I had my AP government teacher in 10th grade, the guy that like everyone it was 11th grade, yeah. My AP government teacher last year, everyone regards to be like this guy that knows everything about politics and history. And it's this very smart guy, and he gets written about in like he gets written in for like presidential battles and stuff. He's a Bushite Republican that is like very stupid on politics, and you can tell he's only read historical books and has never read any like philosophical books, and he doesn't know what he actually believes. So he thinks he's a conservative, and he presented this literal graph. He put this little graph up there saying, if you're to the right, you're anarchist, and if you're to the left, you're fascist communist. And it was so bad. I am a senior right now, which is epic because I'm a boomer. True. Explain this kid right here. Here, liberals, you're the real racists and the real fascists. Explain that, huh? Take that.
The more libertarian you get. Libertarians and conservatives believe in personal responsibilities, human rights, and personal liberty.
Okay, I think this was my first John Doyle video, I think. Maybe. There's 3 videos that I think could have been my first one. I'm not sure which one. But his video on the Nazis being liberal was really bad. It was a bad video. It's just not a good video. He used like the same arguments in here, and it was a very bad.
The more left you lean, the more authoritarian you get. The left believes that the government should overlook your life, control your speech.
Guys, conservatism is small government. Yeah.
Gun
okay.
rights, personal privacy, weekly earnings, etc. The more far left you become,
you can tell I'm reading off a script here too. So
the
bad.
more socialist and communist become until you reach total totalitarianism.
I did it again. I did 2 voiceovers.
The modern left believes in gun control and banning automatic weapons and assault rifles, and then they talk about banning AR-15 since AR stands for assault rifle, when it actually stands for Armalite rifle. An assault rifle is automatic, such as a machine gun. People that argue gun control are those that understand the least about guns. The point of the Second Amendment is to prevent from governmental tyranny. If 30 Joseph Stalin
jump cut,
you will need a 30-round magazine. Blacks in the U.S. were taken advantage of because they couldn't defend themselves.
Okay, I do have a political video that is so bad, I'm not showing it. I am not reacting to it. It is so bad that I'm not reacting to it. I'm not.
Jews throughout history weren't given gun rights, and then were taken advantage of.
I was about to make a really inopportune joke, and we're going to keep on.
The right believes in these personal rights, while the left believes in these big governments. The left believes in socialism, and that the government should take...
This is definitely true. If you take America out of it, what is conservatism and what is liberalism? Liberalize means to change something, to change the current state. So accelerationism. Conservatism means to conserve something, to keep what is already there. In other words, to deaccelerate, deaccelerationism, to keep something from moving rapidly. And if you're American conservatives, that means you want to maintain the American status, maintain what was already there, and conserve that. So that's really what that means, much more than government size. But yeah, progress, tradition, equality. I agree with that most definitely. I'm not showing the other video. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Money from people that earn it and pay taxes and contribute to the economy and give it to those that refuse to work.
I'd punch this kid.
Unemployment's at historical all-time low since post-World.
Okay, I hated that chair. That chair was so loud. It is so loud.
World War II, where men were put in a draft and those at home worked in shops, create supplies for the war. There are so many jobs in the U.S.
I really
despite
wish I could speed this
unemployment
video
being
up.
so
I'm
low,
getting like
there are
very
many
annoyed.
open jobs. These people have the ability to get jobs, but would rather make welfare instead of working. The left doesn't care and thinks it's the moral thing to do, which brings us to our second difference. The left believes in making decisions based on morals, and while the right believes in making decisions based on effectiveness.
What about effectiveness and morals? Why can't the right be moral? Nice lighting, so true.
The left will peddle the Green New Deal, which is a disastrous plan to save the world from climate change
You actually
by
can.
replacing every house and car in the U.S. and
You can run from your past. I'm running from this guy right here.
Change is actual. Now no money to pay for it. Now no climate change is actual thing, but people are making way too big a deal out of it. They just want to.
I actually commented on this video like 3 days later saying, never mind, I no longer believe man-made climate change is a real thing. That just shows you like how fast your like opinions shift whenever you're 15 and why you shouldn't be making political videos. What is this face, by the way? This is low physiognomy for real. I look like a tiki, like a totem pole or something here.
Print out money to penalties.
Gen Z GOP Carter.
And they don't realize that
Let's go.
calling money
Bill
is
Crystal.
what created the American Great Depression and the Great Depression in Europe. These socialists want America
It's
in a
actually
recession
not.
again.
It's industrialization
But remember, guys, these people want to redo history. But remember, it's
and
the
bad
whole thing to
monetary
do.
policy.
Let's not forget how making everyone poor, too poor to live, in the words of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, too poor to live.
How did I say that?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Alexandria
Too poor to live.
Ocasio-Cortez.
These
I kind of
rules
like
make
that
people
name, honestly.
too poor to live.
Alexandria
But remember,
Ocasio-Cortez.
let's not
Imagine
talk
her
about
like
that
with a
immoral
basketball,
too
just
poor
like
to live.
balling over here.
It's the moral thing to do.
Be awesome.
The left also believes we should establish socialism or communism because no person in America should be too poor to live. Let's just ignore the fact that socialism and communism makes people too poor to live and worsens the issue. But remember, it's the moral choice. This brings me to my final difference. The right believes in factual backings, and the left believes in feelings. The left believes that fetuses are unliving parasites and that gender is a spectrum. All real scientists, sorry Bill Nye, would agree.
Oh,
Sex
I
determines
owned
gender.
him. Oh
The
my
left, however,
gosh.
doesn't care
He
about
got
the facts.
owned,
They care about their
bro.
feelings.
He got
Well, why
owned.
can't a girl that's raped get an abortion? How about instead of punishing the baby, you jail or incarcerate the rapist? You're such a bigot. No, radical leftist.
Yes.
You support abortion. You're the big.
I thought that was like a baller line. That's so cringe. Oh my gosh. I actually like this next video I made. These weren't this video, there was a large gap between this video and the old video. But this video was on big tech, specifically a Sundar Pichai hearing. It was one of those hearings when they go to the Senate and then they get like absolutely grilled and then nothing ever happens. That's basically what happens, and that this was one of them. So
December 11th, 2018.
I actually do like this
Sundar
video.
Pichai,
It's
Google
a funny
CEO,
video. It has good
testified
editing
before
too.
Congress, mainly on accusations of censoring and bias against conservatives. He also was there for leaked development of the later shut down Dragonfly project,
True.
which was accused of being a project that would develop into a censored search engine for China. Wikipedia, which Google is teamed up with, claims that it was designed to be compatible with China's state censorship.
Yes, it was made in
provisions.
iMovie.
Now, the reason I brought up the wiki is because Google automatically promotes Wikipedia through their
I've learned to
agreement.
use Premiere
So it's
Pro
a
now.
bit strange that the quote has not been edited out if it was false. Wiki works in
Okay, so Wikipedia. I actually had this very like revelation today that I thought was very important to point out. Earlier, we were in class. We were looking through like Wikipedia stuff relative to politics and talking about Wikipedia's bias. And I really put it together. Like, what happens whenever you have Wikipedia and you have all the things like controlled by very little people? Like all the important things are all locked. So very few people control it. The sources they allow are very specific and only sources they deem reputable, and all the stuff has clear liberal bias. So what happens when Wikipedia teams up with Google to have their metadata, their all their all their like wiki pages, I guess that's what's called, yeah. All their wiki pages show up first in the metadata. Like it's boosted very high in the metadata, so almost always shows up first. So what happens whenever someone like a kid hears about like Proud Boys? Let me Google this, and it's gonna say far right chauvinist group, whatever. How is that gonna change the future generation's perception of things? Whenever their main source of information is simply Googling things, and the first things that pop up are far left things every time. What's gonna happen?
A real,
I'm
really
at public
weird
school.
way of how they use their sources and everything. So maybe it's not. It's probably it's not like actual evidence. It's just speculation. But we won't get into
I
it.
wish I could speed
Just
up
know
the
before
videos
Google left
on
China in
iMovie.
2010,
Sorry,
they helped
I wish
censor
I could
the
speed
Chinese
them up on
government
StreamYard,
and
but
their concentration crisis. Google's
can't.
conclusions that there were Russian bot ad campaigns was
I'd
also
love
brought
to
up.
watch this at
was
like
brought up by
1.5
Gerald
speed or something.
Nadler, and Pachai claimed that there were $4,700
It's good
in
content. It's just kind of
advertising
low energy.
from the Russians. This isn't as much as the $18,350 contribution to Nadler in 2014 from Google Inc. when accounting for committee and leadership PAC. In this video, we will be debunking claims by these
Debunked.
representatives. We will be giving a case for perjury and look at possible solutions. Remember this list and share this
They're just
video,
random
because
photos.
This
It's so
is
funny.
huge. So make sure pay close attention as we get into this first.
You can if you're sharing screen, but I'm sharing the video files because I'm on Mac and you can't share the screen on Mac. You can't do the share screen option on Mac, I think, or it's just I think that's why, but I just can't use the share screen option.
False statement by Google-funded Jerry Nadler.
And even if Google
Transition,
were
whoa.
deliberately discriminating against conservative viewpoints, just as Fox News and Sinclair Broadcasting and conservative talk radio hosts like Rush Limbaugh discriminate against liberal points of view, that would be its
Rush
right
Limbaugh definitely
as
has
a
the
private
same
company to
power
do so,
as Google.
not to be questioned by government.
Now, while some of you might not know Section 230 or implications,
Section
between
230 has been a
platform versus
disaster.
Publisher, and how a platform is encouraged.
I can't use Streamlabs actually for a very valid reason. You can't record audio on Mac. Like you can't, like the Mac won't. Internal audio to the computer won't be recorded. Like your mic, your audio comes from your mic or from like a website can be recorded. It's like if I'm using a website like StreamYard, it'll work. But if it's like OBS or Streamlabs, that's not going to work. So I can't do that unless I download a completely different app. And for whatever reason, I mess up the drive on my school because it's a school computer. I mess up the drive on that. So the admin password thing, it's all messed up, and that's just not an option.
Encouraged to take down content as long as they are using a standard that is applied equally. And a publisher can do whatever they want, but if what they publish is illegal, then they can be legally punished. This is
Well, I
standard
use a
for
Mac because it's a school Mac, and
publishers.
my other computer, if you want to ask
such as
JPEG,
Washington
it's
Post,
abysmal.
New York Times, Salon.
That's the article I was talking about. I'm a pedophile, but not a monster. Salon. Monday. What is this article?
Fox News, The Guardian, as seen on the top right, and not YouTube and Google. So, YouTube and Google should not get the legal standard of publishers, rather platforms, which have to apply their standards equally. Same thing goes for telephone lines, which are also considered a platform.
Okay, if you have to bring that many waters, that should like tell you straight up that they're just lying. If they're gonna be like sweating that much.
Democrat Ted Lieu also said the same thing and was crowned as the same one and the victor to many people in the
A
comments.
significant portion of this hearing was a waste of time because the First Amendment protects private individuals and corporations' free speech rights.
This is funny because not only is it not a good understanding of how free speech applies to platforms, which it doesn't, but Ted Lieu doesn't even like free speech.
Unfortunately, I don't get that opportunity. However,
I would love to be able to regulate the content of speech. The First Amendment prevents me from doing so.
Oh, hey, it's me.
I'm actually reacting to your
yeah,
interview
but
next,
also-
Big Nick.
Everyone was talking
I'm not
about
going
in
to play the whole thing because I want people to still go to
comment
it,
section
but
of
I'm
the
going to have a
highlight
couple
reel of this
timestamps
court hearing.
just so we can
was
see like the
this
political
clip right
evolution.
I have an iPhone.
True.
And if I move from here
This is a Google hearing, and he's talking about his iPhone, which is made by Apple.
and go over there and sit with my
Smart guy.
Democrat friends, which will make them real nervous, does Google track my movement? Does Google, through this phone, know that I have moved here and moved over to the left? It's either yes or no.
Not by default. There may be a Google service which you've opted in to use, and if
So Google knows that I am moving over there. It's not a trick question. You know, you make $100 million a year, you ought to be able to answer that question. Does Google know
These are the guys that are
through
that
this
are
phone
supposed to save
that
us
I
from
am
this
moving
tech
over there
oligarchy.
and sit next to Mr. Johnson, which would make him real nervous? It's his question. It's yes
I
or
forgot
no.
about that. He was talking
I won't
about
be able to
what's gonna
answer.
make him real nervous, and he's over here. He's just shaking. I'm like, what?
without looking at,
You can't say yes or no.
without knowing more details, sir.
If I walk over there and sit next to Mr. Johnson,
I forgot how
carry my
bad this
phone.
was.
does Google know that I was sitting here and then I moved over there?
You're welcome anytime, Judge.
Yes or no?
I genuinely don't know without knowing
I'm
what
shocked you
services.
don't know.
Did I?
I thought
Beat
this was
your
really
wife
funny,
last
and it's
night.
just not.
Sir, that's not my wife. If I went over there to
Yo,
your
room
wife,
check.
which would make her real nervous, did I beat her last night? I wouldn't know without have been there last night. It's a yes or no question. If I go over there with your wife, that would make her real nervous. Did I beat her last night? It's a yes or no question. Sir, I wouldn't know. Let me clear this up for you. If I went over there with my feet, walked over
Okay, I guess
there
this is
to
funny.
your wife, did I beat her last night? Sir, I wouldn't. I wouldn't know, sir. Well, I'm shocked. You make $100 million a year. You should be able to answer the question.
Picture of Donald Trump comes up. I just did that. How would that happen? How does search work so that that would occur?
Boomers.
We provide search today for any time you type in a keyword. We, as Google, we've gone out and crawled.
For what
and
reason? Were you Fed posting a bit? What was the reason?
stored copies of billions of web pages in our index.
Web pages.
And
Shut
we
up.
take the keyword and match it
Get out
against
here,
web
immigrant.
pages and rank them based on over
Joking, I'm
200
joking.
signals. Things like relevance, freshness, popularity, how other people are using it.
And based off what they judge to be good news
This is
and
actually
bad
true.
news. I found this on Project Veritas, and it's in that leak. Here it is. Wall Street Journal.
Why am I breathing into mic?
8.53,
Why did I not edit that out?
ABC, PBS, CBS, Associated Press, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. If you want to argue whether Fox News or MSNBC is better, I can have that discussion.
They're both
but
bad.
CNN has to be collectively worse than the bottom shows. Let's get to that. RT America, Breitbart News, Philip DeFranco, the Huffington Post, the Young Turks, which are two outliers there, the Alex Jones channel, and the Next News Network. The point is that they do actually rank news and actually
True.
do kind of change which sources come up first. There's also another leak in here that has a blacklist of what can appear under the news tab and not. When I look at it,
True.
thefederalistpapers.org Louder with Crowder, Infowars.com, TheRedleMedia.com, GlennBeck.com, RightWingNews.com are all blacklisted. And when I searched for the word
I'm
right,
kind of glad that they are.
11 were
I don't need to be
blacklisted.
reading
Con,
Brandy Love
short
on
for
the Federalist.
conservative, 16 were blacklisted. And liberal, like classical liberal, there's 3. And for the left,
Like classical
there was
liberal.
0 blacklisted.
And trying to sort through that information.
Last year, we served over 3 trillion searches, and just as a fact, every single day, 15% of the searches Google sees, we have never seen them before.
This means that 2,975,000,000 search results Google has seen before.
True.
It is likely they've altered at least some of them.
This sounds easy, but it's really hard to do. We're pushing down the fake news, we're demoting it, and we are increasing the authoritative news and promoting it. How do we do that? We have a whole system. We came up with trashy news where we'll classify.
Hey, you guys remember that time that Google said they do anything to prevent another Trump situation? Huh. So weird. I'm going to call you a racial slur if you don't get out of here.
We identify it. We look for salacious, for clickbait, content that isn't
that we don't think is the authoritative news.
Sources. We work with Google News on that to define what those reputable sources are.
Yes, you heard that right. Susan Wojcicki is using authoritative news and the breaking news page based off Google News, which we went as over, which blacklist conservative news outlets.
What are you doing? What is Google doing to combat the spread of white supremacy and right-wing extremism across YouTube?
What right-wing extremists? Richard Spencer with a straight K? That's the only far-right white supremacist on YouTube. They've attacked so many people that aren't like him. The only reason he's not even on the right. He supports socialized healthcare. Just only
your videos in my description. Is that what you're talking about?
He's the only one on there. He's allowed, but History Channel's
I don't
aren't.
know, bro.
Steven Crowder gets attacked. Alex Jones gets attacked. Owen Schwer gets attacked. Milo Yiannopoulos gets attacked. John Doyle gets attacked.
I've went through all the
gets attacked. Nick Fuentes
settings
gets
to make
attacked.
sure.
James Alzups gets his channel deleted.
I'm surprised I mentioned Nick Fuentes. I don't even know
Richard
I knew who that was. Yeah.
He can have a channel. I mean, some of the people I mentioned do have channels. Some of them got all their accounts deleted. But if they aren't deleted, they get automatically demonetized.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the optimal place to put my legs because, like, the camera's right here,
Crowder,
and I don't know where to put my legs.
Said it didn't violate their guidelines.
Because, like, I have my whole computer right here.
Demonetized him?
Where do I'm sitting on a
platform
bed.
Cannot do that. It cannot.
So where do I put my
money
legs?
away from someone from the videos that they earned their money to when they didn't violate the rules. And I know the argument's going to arise that it's not the creator's money, but if other creators are getting the same thing,
no, the comment's still there. Big Nick.
But the reason he isn't allowed to get ad revenue is because YouTube disqualifies him, but that's not based off of their rules because he didn't violate their rules. Then that's the platform can't do that. But
True.
Let's see how Patai.
They aren't
let's see
legally
how he
supposed
answers
to.
this.
Like, the law says they can't do it.
Congressman, YouTube
but
is
they're
an
allowed
important platform. We do want to allow for diverse perspectives and opinions, but we have rules of the
Diverse
road. We have
perspectives and
clear
opinions.
content policies, and we have policies against many categories, and we are transparent about these policies. And
Yeah.
And when we find violations on our policies, we do remove those videos and handle content.
When you find violations, you what?
Of our policy. For example, we have policies against hate speech, and we clearly define them. And if we find any violations there, we do take down content.
When you take down the content, do you note who put it up so
I'm
you
not
can
twisting this.
flag
It's a-
future
it's a little
content from the same sources?
Cord here a second.
We
Keep on my cords
we look at it on a
from
video by video basis.
any
To
text
the
at work.
extent there are repeat offenses from a
By
same
Pinocchio's
account, we
Washington
do
Post.
take into
True.
account and we notify the content creator.
All right, so this horrible claim is going to get us into our perjury segment. I guess first we should start by defining perjury.
Okay, everyone knows what perjury is. Skip ahead.
In a piece.
Let's look at this video by the young. It's a mistruth in which you can prove that the person knew about it and was purposely lying. So there's a difference under oath. Because there's a difference between telling something untrue and lying. And lying under oath is perjury.
We do want to allow for diverse perspectives and opinions.
If YouTube wants diverse perspectives, let's look at this video by the Young Turks as compared to a video by John Doyle. And let's see.
Let's go.
I have no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay?
Yeah, me too.
I think so poorly of them, and the reason why is because, look, I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're dumb. When you vote for someone who openly treats women like second-class citizens, who talks about them as if they're nothing more than a piece of meat, who has been accused of sexually assaulting them, who has been caught on tape talking about groping them and grabbing them by the pussy without consent. Yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, okay? You are voting against your best interests. I'm losing my mind tonight because of how stupid the majority of the country is.
And I'm with you. I don't respect women.
Now, let's compare this to an age-restricted, informative, and non-vulgar video by John Doyle.
We're going to talk a lot about the implications of religious freedom once we actually start to go through the footage. Right, so firstly, she claims to be a woman of faith. She actually claims to be a Catholic, and I'd like to think that this is just her being confused about things, which is quite often the case, because she's not actually a Catholic. But I think that a lot of the time when these leftist politicians cite their own faith, they're doing it because they're trying to dilute the legitimacy of what that faith, which is always Christianity, by the way, actually entails. Like, they're misrepresenting the Christian doctrine so that anyone who's actually interpreting it correctly and living in accordance with it will lose grounds to do so, because as we'll watch her get into, the argument's going to be, well, it can't actually be religious freedom, since we've just learned from the austere religious scholar Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that Christianity isn't about all this mean judgmental stuff. So anyone who's being mean and judgmental and not totally accepting isn't actually Christian. They're just posturing as such to justify their bigotry. So that must mean that there's no real purpose to
You see,
to
I
laws
didn't want to play
protecting
this whole clip here without John's permission, so I actually emailed him about it, and he was cool with it.
It's freedom, so we should just get rid of them. Like, that's the strategy.
So yeah, nothing was vulgar, everything was logical. It perfectly followed the age restriction guidelines, and it shouldn't be age restricted, but it is because he's conservative.
We have clear content policies.
If you had clear content policies, then why are you always changing them?
True.
And then demonetizing people and age restricting people and taking down videos that don't even violate them. So this is untrue. But is it perjury? Can we prove that he knew this was untrue?
Yes.
That he was lying under oath? Can we prove that?
Yeah.
So when looking under the leak of Project Veritas, we couldn't prove. I didn't see anything that proved that he knew about these things and that he's lying here and that this is perjury. But there is one thing that we can make a really good case for it, that he committed perjury.
That way. Ileana Murillo is Google's head of multicultural marketing. Does Miss Murillo do good work?
I'm not directly familiar with her work, but she's an employee of Google, and we are proud of our employees.
Well, you praised her work the day after the 2016
That's
election
true.
in a 4-page
This
email she wrote about her work with the Latino vote. She said, even Sundar gave our effort a shout out. Is she referring to you there?
She was referring to my communication around translation for a different related effort.
Now,
So you do know about the email.
Lie.
You said you
under
did.
oath, because it's not a different related effort.
You said you didn't know about our work, and now you do. What do you
email
fucking
chain
mean,
about how
bro?
they tried to get more Latinos to vote so Hillary could win. And it says, within that same email page, it talks about the effort to get them more to vote by creating Translate.
Oh,
so
gosh.
it is related to this effort. That's why she put it in the email chain about how they failed to get Latino votes.
Come on, get on the point, Jeb Bush. Come on.
Sundar just lied.
That question, I'm asking, is it fair to say the we in both sentences refers to the company Google?
As Google, we wouldn't participate in any partisan efforts around any civic process, so I don't think so.
So we pushed and we supported partners like Voto Latino to pay for rides in polls in key states, and we pushed to get out the Latino vote. During the 2016 election, And how were they getting that done? They were getting that done by, according to Ms. Murillo, your head of multicultural marketing, by altering your features or configuring your features in such a way and for paying for rides for people to get to the polls. Is that an accurate reading of those? That's all I'm asking. Is that fair to say what those sentences are talking about?
Not aware of all the specifics, but we did look into it. We found
Not
no
aware of all the
evidence,
specifics, but,
there were any activity like that from Google.
I just confirmed what the article was talking about because I of course know what the
Okay, so
article
he's
is.
not
but
aware of all the
I
specifics,
know what the
but
email
yet
is about, but I don't know
he
it's.
praised her.
Ah,
And he's speaking under oath, so that's kind of stupid.
it's
And then
kind
it
of
says here
stupid.
that
No,
we
it sounds like
never
they know that the government will let them
anticipated
get away with anything.
29% of Latinos to vote for Trump, which indicates why they were trying to get them to vote, and their plan was to get Hillary elected.
We didn't do any such activity as Google on any of these key states. I mean, there are employees.
Well, it says we, referring to Google, emphasize our mission to get Latinos access to information so they can make an informed decision at the polls. Informed decision, which means for them, vote Hillary, and we feel very grateful for all the support.
Big
for
tech
this important
colluding? Oh my gosh.
work, and it talks about all these ways how they did it, how they bust people,
I thought I was like a genius for this
how
video.
they did
I mean, like,
translations.
I thought I was gonna get like raided by the FBI or
thanked
something.
her on the effort, so he knew about it.
It's pretty
And
funny.
he just lied. He just lied.
We as a
No way.
company didn't have any effort to push out votes for any particular demographic. That would be against our principles. We participate in the civic process in a nonpartisan way, and we think it's really important we do it that way.
Well, who else was changing translations to get out the Latino vote? Google.
Laid out how they did it. I mean, do I need to provide the
Who's
video
Uncle
of
Ted?
Google workers the day after the
Wait.
election crying because Trump won? I mean, this is a blatant lie by Pichai. How did he get away with perjury in Congress?
Is your testimony today that Google did not configure its features to get out the Latino vote in
Look at this guy. Look at that guy.
We don't build partisan features.
Why does he
or
look like
features
that?
with any goals around affecting elections in those ways.
You leave me no choice lying, Pichai.
You
I
leave
certainly
me no
find
choice.
this election deeply offensive, and I know many of you do too.
It did feel like a ton of bricks
Yeah.
dropped on my chest. What we
Let's
all need right
not,
now is a hug. Can I move to Canada?
Is there anything
Let's not
positive you
reference
see from
the
this election
Unabomber in
result?
chat. I know his book about Industrial Revolution was very good. Love this book.
Boy, that's
This book is
a
awesome.
really tough
Industrial
one right
Revolution and
now.
its consequences have
This
been
meeting
a
between
disaster
Google
for the human race.
employees
So
and
true.
their CEOs means some way, somehow,
Yeah,
they
not.
thought a Hillary win would benefit their company. Now we can see why they tried to
He
push
was
up
right,
the
though.
Latino
He was
vote
right, though.
in key states. This is absolutely disgusting. Study shows that 96%
Of references to Trump are
Why'd it get
from
that's
liberal
so
media.
that,
Pichai's up there
why'd it get that close to the
laughing
mic there?
about how Hillary should have won. He's talking about how Google doesn't take any partisan approach, even though
Google
really,
owned
they
with
try to get
facts and
Latino
logic.
votes to help Hillary win, as we can see by
Both
multiple
then,
leaks
chat.
by Project Veritas.
Mhm.
We can see this video, which is leaked by Breitbart, which a Google employee said, "Does anyone want to hold their nose and look through Breitbart's content?" It's
That's a yikes.
unbelievable with these people.
Have you ever looked into the
No,
conversation
it's pretty
into
believable.
the resist group?
Congressman, no. Always assume our systems are designed. We assume there could be bad intent. So we've.
So if your assumption is that people can act in bad faith, why then have you not launched an investigation into the communications that seem to indicate a
I'll decide what I'll do for as a career after I help save the nation. All right, because if we don't save the nation, there's not going to be a career. So yeah,
desire to suppress conservative political movements and conservative voices?
Well, if there are allegations around discussions which are specific with the intent of manipulating our products, we would conduct an investigation.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. The Wall Street Journal reported that your workers were discussing tweaking search terms to frame the discussion over the travel ban. Did you perform an investigation into that allegation?
We looked into it. There was no attempt at anything to influence our products.
A bunch of these analysis are on the Project Veritas leaks. So I'd tell you to go look at that because they're not very clear.
Yeah, they weren't
Look
very
at the
concrete. They were.
hearing and then look at the leaks.
They
There's
were
so
like
many lies committed by Bachai
the
about
the,
their
the,
hiring
the
practices with diversity.
analysis they did of these
about-
research things were
he
like
lied about
so like
saying
complex yet
that
not
they
conclusive.
don't track you when
So,
you click don't allow, but they
I don't
still
know. I
track
don't understand
you.
things on there.
And they lied by saying The Economist was a third-party study place when actually the leaks show that they're teamed up with Google.
An
True.
ad, and let's say it's for a restaurant, we normally do it
restaurant.
in a location near you so that it's relevant for you.
Relevant.
Yes, Google does make ads relevant for you depending on your
Relevant.
location. Into the day with
Huh?
what
How do they
pops
know
up
my
first in
location,
searches
Sundar? I thought you said
and
Google doesn't know our location unless we
on
opt into.
YouTube search. But yet,
Huh? So weird how it still gets us
Tulsi
ads even when
Gabbard,
I turn my
the
location
same
off,
day
or if I create a new account with the location
that
off. Really weird.
Google did a
Really weird.
directive verdict where either they move locations or
Strange coincidence.
Tulsi's case was dropped.
Oh no,
and
he's going after
thinking
Tulsi
nobody
Gabbard. Oh
would
no.
Look, in America, when she was being the most searched politician, they made it to where you can't find her in America, even though it's supposed to be more relevant based on geography. And a
Geography?
U.S. politician
Actually, this was a good point to debunk
should
it.
be relevant
They're talking
in
about
the
it being
US,
most relevant
but
based
you
on
couldn't
geography.
find
That was
her
their excuse.
videos or her
But,
channel in the US,
Tulsi
but you
Gabbard
could
was
find
most
it.
relevant in countries
Top
other than the
results
U.S.,
in
which
other
is clearly
countries
showing
because YouTube
it's not
purposely
based on geography. It's based off what they wanted you to
made it to where
think
you
of
couldn't
them.
find it, and they
So
tried
that's the
to lie
point.
and say it was just a
Yeah.
bug. But you're
So I
telling
guess
me
that's a
you're
good
gonna
point there, actually.
not be watching close attention the same day you made a directive verdict, and that it's just coincidence that happened
That's
on the same day
true.
when she was popping off. So I think I
The
made a pretty good
judges.
case for perjury. We proved a lot of things that he said were wrong.
That case, if you
but
look
as
into
far as
it,
stuff that we
was
could
so
prove that he
scandalous.
was
If you look
knowingly
into it,
lying,
if you look into how the judge
running
called like
Latino
a,
votes,
I don't remember what it was.
proved
Actually,
as
I'll
a
go and listen to it again.
judge. But yet, Tulsi Gabbard, the same day that Google did a directive verdict where either they moved locations or the Tulsi's case was dropped.
Okay, that's what it was. Google asked for a directive verdict on the same day that Tulsi Gabbard started doing really well in searches, and that forced the case to either be dropped or moved, which allowed for all this like stalling time.
And thinking nobody would look in America when she was being the most searched politician. They made it to where you can't find her in America, even though it's supposed to be more relevant based on geography. And a
Geography?
U.S. politician should be relevant in the U.S., but you couldn't find her videos or her channel in the U.S., but you could find it top result in other countries because YouTube purposely
I've had really bad
made it
indigestion.
to where you couldn't find it, and they tried to lie and say it was just a bug. But you're telling me you're gonna not be watching close attention the same day you made a directive.
All right, we're gonna have to start
and
pulling
that's
out some
just
bans here.
coincidence that happened on the same day when she was popping off. So I think I made a pretty good case for perjury. We proved a lot of things.
I still think
that
this
he
was a
said
good
were
video,
wrong,
even though I was making fun of
as
it
far
like
as
all the
stuff that we
time.
could prove that he was knowingly
Oh,
lying.
I just didn't have anything to
with
talk over. I didn't have any footage to talk over in the background.
to prove
So I
based on the
literally
context
asked
of the
John if I could just use a
tweet,
video
how
of
she
him in the
said
background. He's
Sundar
like, sure.
knew about it,
So
based off what the effort was based on.
I didn't
we
have
found that
anything
he was
right
lying
to
there,
put there.
and he committed perjury and got away with it. So what should we do about it? My immediate response would be to have him in Congress again for perjury.
Yeah, have one of the same guys that let him walk free. Okay, bud.
Previous one's different Google employees. It seems those aren't really.
He's Captain
going
Space, man.
anywhere,
Follow him, YouTube
especially
and
with
Twitch.
these bozos.
The algorithm or Earth.
Another option would be to just
I didn't even know I knew that word.
break up Google, but as we with
About
other
to
monopolies,
get
it wasn't really
rich.
necessary to break them up. And as we see with Google and like the others, they're actually contributing a lot to society and creating a lot of jobs. So not really see the benefit of breaking them up. So what I'd say be whistleblowers, keep doing what you're doing. Try a case in perjury. Maybe if we can find more from those whistleblowers, and maybe more people can come forward with lawsuits against Google. The problem is, with like
What if
suing
we
Google
just
and
ban them?
YouTube, often the revenue you'd make from the lawsuit isn't worth the price it takes to get a lawyer. Not many people do it, and many companies can get away with just falsely
I basically
copyright
simped for the legal system
striking
for
your
like a long
videos
time.
and just taking money away from you because you're not going to get money for suing them for it.
And if you somehow still aren't convinced of his corruptness and perjury, let me ask you this. Who is Google teamed up with? The Washington Post. Who owns the Washington Post? Jeff Bezos. Who is Jeff Bezos friends with? Hillary Clinton. Who is Hillary Clinton married to? Bill Clinton. Who was Bill Clinton's friends with? Jeffrey Epstein.
No!
And who killed Jeffrey Epstein? Guilty!
So
No way! We figured it out!
Is share this video, like it, subscribe, spread the word, keep talking about this. Try and educate yourself some. I'll try and educate myself some. And maybe someday we can see Sundar Pichai behind bars.
Pog. You do know the line is like, oh, you do know the line is niche, like a niche, like in like science, like your role. That was like the point. Was like blindly voting isn't your role. You know, whatever. The left is over. The left is shaking in its boots. All right, we're pulling up the Big Nick Show. Links in the description. I'm only gonna play a few moments of it because I really want you guys to check it out. It was a very, very good thing. But we're just gonna soak in like how much. Okay. I mean, you're just that autistic that I thought you might have just, you know. I don't know. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should time you out or not, Focal Pandora. That's kind of cringe. But yeah, let's just soak in how much like I've learned something. Let's just soak that in, you know.
Well, I mean, if you always go back, there's a reason they use this like freedom of religion argument when addressing, or like when they use like privacy or religion. There's a reason they use that. It's because simply put, like due to like fusionism and like Goldwater and stuff, the conservative movement has adopted this like very liberal, classically liberal, like liberal idea of like freedom of religion, free speech, like this very classically liberal idea from like this like libertarian perspective, and they're using that freedom of perspective, or sorry, they're using that like freedom of religion or bodily autonomy, because that's like what the like libertarian belief set would be. So they're using that to then push their agenda, because their agenda actually kind of coincides with that. But the people that are like the fusionists, they just don't really like get how that would coincide with their message. So they're really using that to further their point. And although it's not historically accurate, although it's not what freedom of religion was supposed to mean, although it's not what like any of this freedom, right to privacy was supposed to mean, that doesn't matter at the end of the day when talking about like the general intelligence of people and how they just listen, and then how things like go in their mind.
So true. I don't have much to comment on there. That's some things to comment on the other ones, but that one, there's just so much truth to it.
Is because the conservative movement has gone more
The more
libertarian.
alt-right you go, the more
There's
anarchist.
this great quote by Red Eagle Politics where he said, "You can't put a house fire out if the fire truck is on fire," and that's completely what it is. And I mean, if we go back, you simply have to view it like whenever understanding like these libertarian types, they're not like actual libertarians. Like they're not like Michael Malice or someone that like actually believes in like anarchy or something.
True.
You got to quite literally understand that these people are only libertarian as it pertains to keeping you out of power, and as it pertains to retarding the conservative movement and like slowing it down, stopping it as it can.
I meant that
They
in the
don't
sense
hate
of like
they don't
slowing
hate,
it down.
like,
The
the government
literal
when it comes to like
definition
their
of the word
big military
retarding.
regimes or their big
Don't come at
police
me,
regimes.
okay?
They don't hate like
Okay.
a big government and that. They don't care about big government. What they care about is conservatives getting in power, and they hate that because they're paid opposition put in there by liberals,
Yo,
paid
he's spitting.
by the establishment liberals to stay in there and stop the political conservative movement from ever rising into power and getting anything done and stopping them.
I mean,
He's spitting though.
it's not wrong. I mean, I mean, I'm sure you saw the
Big Nick
Charlie
stumped.
Kirk
Look at him, shocked. He's been stumped. Facts and logic. And feelings. Yeah. I guess that makes me a liberal now, Carter. Because I feelings too. Oh my gosh. No one makes me a good arguer. Shut up, kid.
Do you have a line?
There frankly is no, I mean, I have a line. My line was a long time ago, but my line was like 200 years ago. But frankly, conservatives. Yeah, but the ineffective part of the party is the people that claim to be.
I mean, they might say they do. They
libertarians,
might say
so.
they have it now.
Maybe if you're talking
They
about
might
like
say we're
the
at the line,
the
we're
ones that are
past
actually
the line. But
authentic.
they
like
don't really believe that.
Rand
They're
Paul.
gonna, in 5 years, they're gonna say something else.
Yeah.
Whatever. 5 years, they're gonna be saying,
Yeah,
well,
I guess that's about it.
pedophilia is only okay if they're 17 or like 16, but not if they're 15. Or like abortion's only okay if it's second trimester.
That's so true. They're both satanic, and they're both evil. They're both immoral. There is no difference between saying abortion is okay if it's only in the first what is it? These eyes. Abortion is okay. There's no difference between saying abortion is only okay only if it's before the heartbeat, or it's only okay if it's before the third trimester. There's no difference between that, and no difference between saying pedophilia is okay only if it's a couple of months ahead of the age of consent, or it's only okay it's only okay if they're 17 or 16, but not if they're 15. It's the same exact thing. It's just treading the line to the left and giving them some space. And the continuation of being the party of the Democrats of 5 years ago.
It's the same thing. You're taking a moral principle,
So true.
and you're just
God.
slowly
Every
moving
time I
it
try
towards
and
their
cri-
side. And it
sorry,
really
Lord.
shows the
I'll pray
effectiveness of
after I
narrative
stream.
control, media control,
Sorry for using your
again,
name fame.
that they're able to have this like
yes.
hypocrisy, or not able to
Every time I try and
actually
like show
follow
a
what they're saying
comment, the
because they
chat
can't be
moves
called
at
out.
that
They have
exact
this
second,
control,
and then they'll
and it
show
shows
the
the
comment
importance of it, and it
underneath when I
shows
was
like
trying to
why
click.
we need to infiltrate places like Fox,
And it's happened like
Daily
4
Wire,
different times now.
places, and we need
It's really
to
annoying.
get like this infrastructure that currently exists and use it to shift away from this cringe movement and shift it towards something good, something great. We need to start pushing against them. We need to start pushing hard. We need to motivate. We need to be white-pilled.
We do need to
as
push
heck,
against these guys.
and even
That's
to like a
really
pretty
hard.
much a LARPing level degree, because what we're
We need
what we're
infiltrators,
facing
and we need people
is
that
a
push
mass
hard.
mobilized mental illness like paradox fueled by a propaganda apparatus, a government that hates us, a police agency and military that hates us, just the whole security state, and a Republican establishment that has sold us out towards these people. And again, I don't care if it means we're going to be slightly dishonest or whatever. I don't care if it means we're going to like do whatever. I don't want this country being taken over by Satan. So if that means that we're going to have to use media control, or we're going to have to teach kids, like we're going to have to indoctrinate kids. Yeah, teaching kids about morality, teaching kids about God. That's what education was for. It was really to help them, because if you really want the best in kids, you're going to want them to be closer to God. If you really want what's best for them, you're going to want them to have a spiritually happy life. And it going back to like the freedom of religion thing. Like the original intention was not freedom of like religion, meaning to like you can like do whatever or not have anything aggressed against you. Goes back to the stupid NAP, whatever. But really, it goes down to freedom from religion in the sense of like being free from being forced to go to a certain church, or being free from the church being run by the state. That's what it means. That does not equal freedom from God by any means. It does not equal libertarian NAP, like bodily autonomy. That's worship of self. That's worship of Satan. That's what that is. You are either a servant to God or you're a slave to the devil.
I love how
such a true line. You are either a servant to God or a slave to the devil. You cannot be autonomous. You cannot be an individual. You're a slave to devil or a servant to God. So true. So true. Democracy is cringe, read some Aristotle.
Like anything that, I mean, that's tough for another day. Yeah, it is a mental illness. Whenever you like anything that deviates from like your biology or how your like neurological brain is how to like operate, and like if your gray matter like operates in a way
contrary to human nature or contrary towards your body, that would be what would be classified as a mental illness. And really, I mean, if you go down to it, DSM has been long political. Scientific field has been long political. They can use this and they can teach this to kids under the name of science. And I even think you're going too far by saying like we should let these people exist. I'm not saying we should kill. No, that's not.
We should literally deport them.
I'm saying like we
Deport
should
them to Britain.
If they push it on
Allowing
anyone, we
them
should
here
absolutely
is-
jail them. I mean, there's a lot of conservatives
allowing
that
them to
will
live here
just,
is just
scoff at
destructive
the
towards
idea
American society.
of putting parents in jail. if
Britain
they
loves taking
transition to
refugees.
kids.
Okay,
Like,
let
Oh,
them
yeah,
take it.
totally.
We're supposed to like scoff at that, like what? And even if you're in a community and you're allowing them to, even if you're in like a community, like you're not the parents, even if you're a community allowing to do it, you should go to jail. I don't care, frankly. I don't care about the argument against like we should let them operate. I mean, we can go back to what we were talking about earlier. You cannot let people operate and bring people into Satanism. You cannot allow that to happen.
Bry.
I mean, I was saying
Ish.
more just like, I mean, hey, if we have to bring asylums back,
Yeah,
he
totally.
was saying that.
I'm saying they need help. Obviously, we can't be treating them as if they don't have a mental.
I want to elaborate what I was saying there a bit further because I think I could have made that point better. So what I was trying to say, or was that actually? Give me a second.
The great quote
Mhm.
about the.
I mean,
Okay, this is what I thought. So we'll get to this in a second. So what I was trying to more so say, because I think I can elaborate on this. I think this is a very important point. If we look at what is gender identity disorder, right? If you look up like the old definition of it, what is it? It's your brain, like your brain's thoughts and wants are incompatible with the biology and your human body, right? And you're feeling a inherent distrust and disliking towards your body, and you're wanting to like change it. That's why I was eventually changed to body dysmorphia, which is stupid, but whatever. And like changing to body dysmorphia would insinuate that once you change the body to the other gender's body, then you can be the other thing. But the real truth is your brain structure is actually made to be male or female. Studies have shown there's a male and female brain. Many people point out, well, studies have also shown that transgender people that are male to female are closer to the female brain than they are the male brain. Okay? And here's why that's so important. It's because, and here's why it also shows that here's why it after shows that after transition you still have a high suicide rate, and it's because your brain can only capacitate itself to accept your own identity within the neuroplastic gray matter state. So your brain's like identity can only be shifted and can be shifted like likewise towards the brain of the other gender, but it cannot fully get the way there because there's different structural things that are remaining stagnant. So your body can never fully get there. Your brain can never get fully there. So you're always going to be in a perpetual state of unhappiness because your biology and your neurology are not matching your wants. So you're always going to be at that unhappy state, whether you get to transition or not, which is why the transition has shown to not have that big of an effect on your suicide rate, and neither has rating your life convenience as getting better, which would debunk the whole societal it's actually societal what's the word I'm thinking of? Stigma. Why can I not think of that word? It's actually a societal stigma that's making them suicidal. It's not even true, even if you look remotely about how much it's getting pushed. But even if we ignore that and we just look at like again whether they feel that their life's gotten better or not, that would insinuate that even if they feel their life has gotten better, the suicide rate is way higher than the general population, which would insinuate there is something mental there, and that is because their brain can never fully get there, and they're still feeling that uneasiness. Their neuroplasticity can only shift so much, and once the internal truth is that those things that remain stagnant are always going to be stagnant to the thing that you were born as. So the only way to get these people to be happy again, to get their body to be all together so they can feel satisfied, is to return them back to their original gender. The only way to make these people happy is to make them turn them back. Asylum back. Transition or no, not transition. Sorry. What am I thinking of? Yeah, conversion therapy, bring it back. Back conversion therapy, bring back asylums. It's clear you can only be happy when you return to what your body was made for, because it can never fully get to your identity. Your neuroplasticity can only change so much. It can never get fully away there. It can only be shifted back towards your original purpose because of those structures that don't change due to neuroplasticity. Only some of them do. And that's the only way your body can fully match its purpose, and you can then be fully happy. So we as a society have to be pushing all this very heavily, not only for the health of the nation and not only for the health of our kids, so this doesn't get further influence to them, but for the health of these people too, because we don't like seeing these people die either. Well, some of them, I'm joking. But yeah. Well, yeah, this is going along with like what I'm saying. It means like, yeah, like their biology as they're born as, that's an eternal struggle, because even once their neuroplasticity comes to accept their identity, they still have certain biological features that don't change, and they're different, like different parts of their brains that don't change, different body parts that don't change. So they're never going to actually fully get the way there. The only way they can get to a perpetual state of happiness is by being returned to what they were intended to be, because our brains and bodies were intended for a specific purpose for a reason. They were intended for a specific role for a reason. And actually, if you go back, the reason they created this whole sham was to create sexual liberation and get rid of gender roles so they can create a society that was not cohesive at all and was full of chaos. And that's what homosexuality, all this stuff, is simply a symptom of that. But yeah, go off, King.
It was built for a good and moral people. If we're not that, we're not America anymore, and that's why it's falling apart.
Yeah, and we always bring up this, us like conservatives actually get it. We always, in this discussion about religion, we always bring up the John Adams quote. We always bring that up. The great quote about the.
I mean,
it's a great quote about Constitution is made for religious and moral people. So not only does that mean that the country should be religious and moral, which means Christianity, because that's obviously the only moral religion, because if it's a correct religion, if you believe that, you'd believe that to be the only moral religion. But that's not only what that means. What that also means is that the Constitution cannot operate properly if the country is not moral and religious, which also means if the country is not moral and religious, you don't have to necessarily follow the Constitution. So that might like shock some people. I'm not saying like commit crime. That's not the point. But like when it comes, some people think like saying like not follow the Constitution. No, the Constitution is telling not you what you can't do or can or cannot do. It's telling the government what they can or cannot do to you. So now, what I'm trying to explain here is that the country gets to a religious, the country gets to an irreligious and immoral state to where people cannot be self-sufficient. The government might have to go over some of these things, and that's what the quote would insinuate. That's actually what the founders believed. Like if you look at like what Thomas Jefferson believed relative to like a new constitution coming from a new war, that comes from this: that if a chaos does erupt, you're going to have to use unconstitutional means sometimes, such as like if a nation can only be prosperous and self-sufficient, if it's moral and religious, sometimes you're going to have to start going a bit harder on the religious stuff. Which, I mean, it's still in line with what they religiously meant, but I think my overall point is still the same. I think my overall point is still resemblant of the overall truth. And this isn't to say I hate the Constitution. Again, I love the Constitution. Once we get the country back to where it needs to be, we're going to bring the Constitution back because it's awesome and it's epic, and we need it to prevent someone like the government from being super corrupt. But it can't work whenever people aren't capable of self-sufficiency. So if people are left to their own wills, it cannot work if they are being led by their own impulse and by Satan. So that's the overall point. Not So, that like, the taking the Constitution country is bad or that we
from
should
a moral
be censoring,
and
all
irreligious,
that stuff.
like an
That's the
immoral and
overall
irreligious
point.
society. Things that might traditionally go against like freedom of religion, in like the sense that it's operated, won't actually operate in that sense because you can't properly return to religion and moral without the Constitution. So that means you can't. That's not. I think the way I explained it wrong here. That wasn't really what I was trying to get at. What I just said a minute ago is what I was trying to get at. Yeah, people are leaving. I think what I said about the Constitution kind of controversial, so it's whatever. But yeah, I think we're gonna end it here. I don't have any more clips to look at. It was a great stream. Loved watching all this stuff, going back down memory lane. So you know much we've grown as a person, and as a thinker. Very wide pilling. Thanks for tuning in.